Hello, my friend. This channel will help you learn English through stories. Listen, read, repeat. If you need to, use subtitles. Today, I will tell you one interesting story. It is a story about something you know well. It is the bicycle. Do you know how many bicycles there are in the world right now? More than 1 billion. That is more than cars. Every day, millions of people ride a bicycle to work, to school, to the shops. Some people ride for fun, some for sport. But where did the bicycle come from? Who invented it? And what will it look like in the future? Let's find out together. Let's start from the very beginning. People have always wanted to move fast and without effort. In ancient times, they used horses for this. A horse is a good animal, but you have to take care of it. Feed it every day. Treat it when it is sick. Let it rest. This is expensive and difficult. Not every person could afford a horse, but everyone needed to travel. So people dreamed. Is it possible to make a machine that moves on its own, without a horse? In the Middle Ages, artists and scientists drew different machines on wheels. For example, in the papers of the great Leonardo da Vinci, one drawing was found. And it looks very much like a bicycle. Did Da Vinci really invent the bicycle? Scientists still argue about this. Some say, yes, it is his drawing. Others say, no, it is a fake. There is no exact answer, but the dream of such a machine definitely existed a long time ago. The real history of the bicycle began in 1817. A German baron, Karl von Drais, made a strange wooden machine. 2 wheels, a seat, and that was all. There were no pedals. A person sat on it and simply pushed off the ground with their feet. Funny, right? It looks like how small children ride scooters today. But do you know what? This machine moved at a speed of 15 kilometers per hour. For 1817, that was incredibly fast. People watched the baron and could not believe their eyes. Rich young men quickly wanted the same machine, and the draisine, as it was called, became fashionable in Europe. But it was not comfortable to ride. Your legs get tired when you are always pushing off the ground. Something had to be invented, and in the 1860s, French craftsmen invented pedals. They attached them directly to the front wheel. Now your feet do not touch the ground. You simply turn the pedals and go. It seemed like a great invention. But there was one big problem. Wheels at that time were made of wood or metal, and the roads were very bad, with holes, stones, and tree roots. Imagine, every hole is a strong hit directly through the wheel into your body. The body literally shook. So this bicycle got a funny nickname, the Bone Shaker. That sounds unpleasant, right? But people still rode it. It was new and interesting. Then the penny-farthing appeared, a bicycle with a huge front wheel. The diameter of this wheel was more than 1 meter. Why so big? The pedals were attached to the front wheel. The bigger the wheel, the further you go with one turn of the pedals. So, faster. On a penny-farthing, you could go 30 kilometers per hour. That is a lot even by today's standards for a regular bicycle. But there was one problem. The seat was very high, almost 2 meters above the ground. If you fall, you fly head first. Dangerous. Falling from a penny-farthing was a serious injury. Only young and brave men could ride such a bicycle. Women and older people did not even try. This was clearly not transport for everyone. Everything changed in 1885. An English inventor, John Kemp Starley, made a bicycle that he called Rover. 2 wheels of the same size, pedals in the middle. A chain connects the pedals to the back wheel. Handlebars at the front. Does that sound familiar? Of course. It is almost the same bicycle you see on the street today. Now the seat was low. If you fall, it is not so scary. This bicycle was called the safety bicycle, and it quickly became popular with everyone. And 3 years later, in 1888, a Scottish doctor, John Dunlop, invented the pneumatic tire. It is a tire made of rubber with air inside. Soft. Riding became much more pleasant. Holes in the road were no longer such a problem. We still use this invention today, in bicycles and in cars. After that, the bicycle became available to everyone. Prices fell and production grew. Now, not only a rich person could buy a bicycle. And then something unexpected happened. The bicycle changed the lives of women. In the 19th century, women wore long, heavy skirts. It is hard to move in them, and it was almost impossible to travel far alone. But you cannot ride a bicycle in such a skirt. Women began to wear more comfortable clothes, and most importantly, they got freedom of movement. Now a woman could go wherever she wanted without anyone's help, alone, by herself. Historians say that the bicycle was a small but important step towards equal rights for women. Who could have thought that 2 wheels would change history? Working people also appreciated the bicycle. Before, you had to live close to work. You cannot walk far. The bicycle changed that. Now you could live in one part of town and work in another. Cities began to grow in a new way. Whole working-class neighborhoods appeared that before would have been too far away. In the 20th century, the bicycle continued to surprise. It was used in the army. Soldiers on bicycles moved fast and did not need petrol or horses. In both world wars, bicycle units were in many armies. Japanese soldiers in the Second World War used bicycles in the jungle. It was unexpected and effective. At the beginning of the century, the first big cycling races appeared. The most famous, the Tour de France, started in 1903. Athletes ride thousands of kilometers along the roads of France in 3 weeks. It is incredibly hard. Riders go uphill, in the rain, in the heat, every day. Today, millions of people watch this race on television and on the internet. And cycling became an Olympic sport as early as 1896, at the very first Olympic Games in Athens. Look at how differently people in different countries feel about the bicycle. In the Netherlands, the bicycle is not a hobby, it is a way of life. In Amsterdam, there are more bicycles than people. There are special bicycle roads, bicycle traffic lights, and bicycle parks with space for thousands of bikes. People ride to work in a suit and tie, on a bicycle. They go on a date, on a bicycle. They take their children to school, on a bicycle. It is normal, it is convenient, it is fast. In China in the 1980s, the bicycle was the main transport for hundreds of millions of people. The streets of Chinese cities looked like rivers of bicycles. Then cars came, and there were fewer bicycles. But now China is going back to the bicycle, the electric one. In Denmark, in Copenhagen, more than half of the residents ride a bicycle to work every day, even in winter, even when it snows. Danes say, "There is no bad weather, only bad clothing." Then new kinds of bicycles appeared. In the 1970s in California, young people wanted to ride not on roads, but on mountain trails. They took old bicycles, changed the tires to thick ones, and rode into the mountains. They fell, fixed the bikes, and rode again. That is how the mountain bike was born, strong, with thick tires and reliable brakes. Today, the mountain bike is one of the most popular in the world. Light road bikes appeared for speed, small BMX bikes for tricks and jumps, and comfortable folding bikes that you can take on the metro or the bus. Now we live in the age of electric bicycles. Such a bicycle has a small motor and a battery. When you turn the pedals, the motor helps you. Going uphill, the motor helps. A strong wind is blowing, the motor helps. You do not want to arrive at work sweaty? The motor will help. Electric bicycles have become very popular in recent years. In the Netherlands and Germany, more than half of all new bicycles are already electric. Older people who could not ride before because of their health are getting on a bicycle again. That is great. In many cities of the world, bicycle rental now works. In Paris, London, New York, Moscow, everywhere there are bicycles that you can take with your phone. You get where you need to go and leave the bicycle. You do not need to buy it, store it, or repair it. Just take it and go. Why is the bicycle so popular today? There are many reasons. First, it is good for your health. The bicycle trains your heart, lungs, and muscles. And your joints do not suffer. It is softer than running. Doctors recommend moving every week, and the bicycle is perfect for this. Second, it is good for nature. The bicycle does not use petrol and does not pollute the air. In a world where the environment is becoming more and more important, this matters a lot. So cities are building more and more cycle paths and want people to switch from cars to bicycles. What will happen next? Bicycles will become smarter. Right now, there are already bicycles with a navigation system, speed sensors, and even a connection to your phone. Electric bicycles will go further on one charge. Cities will build more cycle paths. Maybe in the future, the bicycle will become the main transport in your city, as is already happening in Amsterdam, where there are more bicycles than people. Think about this. The bicycle appeared just over 200 years ago as a wooden machine without pedals. Today, it is a smart electric vehicle, an Olympic sport, and a symbol of eco-friendly life. It changed fashion, helped women find freedom, brought millions of athletes together, and simply made people's lives better. 2 wheels, a simple idea, a huge story. Goodbye, my friend. Until next time. Keep learning the language, and you will succeed.